Really?
KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
What the heck? There we go. Happy Thanksgiving. Dak is done. Caleb Shaw Awards and a whole lot more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. See, they tell us not to mess with shit, and someone's always jacking with this shit. Oops, that went off.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Shake your head at me when you're wearing a mashed up hat.
Rule number 1, no touching of the hair or face. Of course. And that's it. Now let's do this.
Hey, good morning. How's your Monday?
Good morning. I figured I would just wait. I swear, doing this show, it's like doing it with a pet duck. Like every Monday, it's like it's your first time. What the heck? You're pushing buttons and turning knobs. We were standing here show prepping, endless show prep, folks. We were standing here visiting calmly as if nothing was going on. And you go, oh, it's 7 o'clock. So I had to push the button and run over here.
Well, because you can't keep a track of time.
Here you are totally lost. I think this actually goes about right there.
So,
Sea of emotions today, folks. Sea of emotions.
Do this.
Lots to talk about. The Wade and Carter weather is brought to you by our good friends at Deerland Feed. Proof that you can buy a friend. Never knew Lacey Rosenquist until she said, you know what, that Wade and Carter thing, that could work for us. And now, friends, amigas, chica grande.
and she knows her stuff.
Habla Espanol. Get over to Deerland Feed today, 73 degrees. Partly, it's going to be sunny all afternoon to a high of 91. There you go. 73 and 91. Kind of foggy right now.
I got rain last night at the 2-4. I wasn't expecting
You
that.
live in another part of the county. It's a big county, Victoria County.
Huge county.
It is. 600 miles of excellence, according to VISD.
612, right? Square miles, something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Stephen Kidder's in, Mark Mickish. Let's see who else is in this morning. David Glass,
Really?
Patrick Strauss, Bobby Leister, H.R. Mallory, Robin Moore Knipling, Judge Posey, Jeremy
morning,
Pena,
Judge.
Andy Ria Jr., Randy Langston, good morning. Chris Conrad, Larry Leahy, 228 YouTubers.
Thank you, JP Hall.
Bobby Leister. And
Leister
Leister on,
Ryder.
we're keeping tabs on that. We appreciate that because I wouldn't have a clue how many we have every morning. Lisa Poole, Matt Boucher, Justin Glass. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends and family.
Hello, Calgary,
Around the
Alberta,
world.
Canada, hello, Newfoundland, you newfies. Hello.
Heather Monroe, we're going to wish her a happy Thanksgiving. Chris Conrad, happy Thanksgiving.
Morning, Sheriff
My mom and
Ladderback.
dad will be in.
Matt Boucher, thank you for sending
Scott
us
Snow.
the weight of the Caleb Shaw Award winner. We did. I appreciate you sending that. We got that from multiple sources. It's great. We have our own network. There's the AP News Network, and then there's the WC. Yeah, we get stuff. It just shows up. Hey, did you see this? No. It gives me the opportunity to kind of vet it, make sure it's real, and then of course we run with it. Especially if there's a chance that we could be wrong, we just run with it.
Jimmy Driscoll, good morning.
Hi, Jimmy D.
Charles Marshall.
So give me a subject. Just give me a subject and just get ready for my sea of emotions opine. I mean, I'm ready.
Astros.
Astros last night came out. Valdez really looked sharp. He's basically a two-pitch pitcher. He's gotten away from the changeup. Throws a nice low 90s fastball and has a low-speed cutter. Or it's a straight curveball. It's just brutal. Falls off the table. Came out, used 11 pitches to get through the first inning, struck out the side, really did an admirable job, gave up one bomb. And Astros, it's 2-1. They lose 2-1. It's the way it's going to be. You're at the division, the championship series level now. You're not going to see these 9-7 scores, I don't believe. And in general, although last night they stumbled, according to my sidekick, partner, mentor, brother, the bullpen of the Tampa Rays is going to be really, really good. By the way, There could
You almost
not
called
be-
them the Devil Rays, didn't you?
Yeah, but there could not be a worse logo in sports. There's not, folks. There's not a worse logo in sports than the Tampa Rays. There's like a yellow neon-looking circle with a manta ray swimming through. It's just the dumbest looking logo in the history. It's not even like a ray with vampire fangs or
No.
anything. It's just a fish. It's just stupid looking.
I would argue they have two of the worst logos. That one and then their word script across their chest is nothing
Yeah, Rays.
exciting.
Just terrible.
It's like they stole it from the Seattle Mariners and
Yes. And mixed in some Toronto
mixed in
Blue
some
Jays.
Florida Marlins colors.
Yes, it's tragic. Terrible
Yeah, it
uniform.
really is.
They should lose based on uniforms alone. I mean, you look and by the way, historically, I mean, if you can just go Yankees, pinstripes, Boston Red Sox, the Astros uniform,
Cincinnati Red Stockings,
beautiful uniform.
Dodgers,
Right. It brings you
Dodger
to
blue, right?
Michigan, Notre Dame, Nebraska. I mean, those iconic uniforms that grab your soul. Then you've got, and the Astros
Montreal
were historically
Canadiens.
terrible. The Astros got so much better. Much better.
Although I would take the rainbow.
The rainbow was tons better than what Tampa's got now. In an era of marketing, who buys that uniform? It doesn't appeal to even the gangsters. It's like pale blue.
Tampa doesn't appeal to anybody
Right.
except the people living there.
Compare the Rays uniform to the Hooks uniform. The Hooks is far superior.
Yeah. Even their blue. I mean, and I long for teams like the Blue Jays to get back to a pale blue road uniform.
That's pretty.
The Phillies was a bit of a stretch. You had maroon and white, then you wore blue for a bit in the 80s because you thought you'd be trendy.
Right. Khaki.
The Brewers look good in that. The Royals should never have gotten away from it.
Yeah, the
The
Royals
Cubs-
uniform was iconic.
The Cubs kind of went with a pale blue with the navy pinstripes. It was weird.
When you said Royals, I immediately thought of Bo Jackson and that uniform just going, trying to hang on because that guy's quads were like 60 inches around.
Yeah, I always picture George Brett in that uniform.
George Brett, star.
But those are the teams that should wear pale blue. The Rays pale blue just doesn't
Brett
work.
Saberhagen. Dealing.
Dan Quisenberry.
The Quiz.
Oh, he's lefty, wasn't
Yeah. Was
Under
it
there.
lefty? He threw under.
he? Or was Kelvy the lefty?
No, yeah. Ooh, good call. I think Quisenberry was right-handed.
Yeah, you might be right. They were both the Submariners. In the day.
Sure.
But the Astros had opportunities all game.
Yeah. Yuli, Gurriel.
Guys on base, and then in the 7th, I think, or was it the 8th? I don't remember because I
think
tried
it
to
was-
block
I
it. I think it was the 8th.
No.
They get
yeah.
the bases loaded with 1 out, and I think it was Yuli comes up. They load the bases, 1 out. Tampa Bay goes to their bullpen, and I think it was Yuli. First pitch swinging to a new pitcher, and he just weakly hits one to the second baseman, steps on second, throws to first.
By the way, seeing Roy
Double
Gutierrez
play.
there. Roy, say it. What's his name?
Roy Gutierrez.
Attaboy. You're getting so close. You are so close. Roy sent me a deal over the weekend, and so make no mistake, and I know you're just as bad. You would laugh straight up at me. If you were somewhere and somebody said something about me that you thought was funny, you just go, "Yeah, that's right. He does do that." You would laugh. So I did it. Okay, I'm admitting it. He sent me a picture and said, "Has it ever crossed your mind how much Ash looks like Judd Hirsch? You know the actor."
What?
Just saying.
Not even.
From Taxi.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Look.
Although every once in a while my wife calls me Eugene Levy.
Oh no, you're a lot better looking than Eugene Levy.
I take Eugene's money.
That's right, did you? That's you.
Whatever.
I think it's the prominence of that schnoz.
Maybe so. Gotta own a nose like this.
Says, look, is it me or does Ash look like Judd
It's
Hirsch?
just him.
So,
Thanks, Roy Gutierrez.
all right, team me up another one. Astros will be fine, folks. I think this is going to be a great series.
Yeah, I
by the way.
agree.
And
But
I'm
they
glad we're not playing the
really
Yankees.
blew a chance to
Blow
not
it
just
open.
win the game,
Yeah, it could've been
but
5-2.
really put some doubt into that Tampa Bay bullpen.
Tampa Bay's feeling cocky right now. I could be Andy Kaufman. Thanks. Thank you, Steve Kidder. Glad to see you.
Yeah, I really don't want to see Brent in a wrestling Speedo.
Right.
Thank you.
That guy was so, most comics are highly troubled people. That guy was genuinely off.
Well, he's still alive somewhere.
Is he?
That's what some say.
I think he's off the chain.
He was real hit or miss, though. I mean, when he was funny, he was funny. When he was trying stuff that didn't work, it was terrible.
The whole Mighty Mouse deal, that was funny. He just comes out and puts on the deal.
The record.
That was funny. All right, so go. Give me another one.
Texas Longhorns. Texas A&M Aggies. Fighting Aggies.
Tell you what, let me talk about the Aggies first because I don't want to I really may get emotional about the Longhorns, and I don't want to do that on a Monday morning and bring everybody down. Hey,
Aggies, Longhorns right now.
Okay.
Aggies are on the rise.
Aggies, look, I'm wearing maroon today. I'm wearing maroon out of respect. Jimbo Fisher got what I believe is his signature win, the one that takes them, and it's all in the ebb and flow of like in-state recruiting. What happened in
you think he conjured up his Florida State days to give it to Florida in this one?
Yeah, I think he had to reach back and pretend that he had somebody, better at quarterback. Although Kellen Mond had a career day, and it happened on a day when Texas ruined their depend in Dallas, and it's like, wow, just like that. So over here in College Station, you've got the $600 million stadium. You've got the coach with certainty in his contract as opposed to Texas. You've got
you extended him for 2 years.
Well, you've got a signature, you've got a signature win over over an arguably higher ranked program. You've got all these things going on.
Arguably.
Yeah, I'm saying I was going to say a better program, and that's not fair. I was trying to be cautious. The Aggies did everything right, capitalized on turnovers. They did what they had to do, and they beat the number 4 ranked Florida team. Now, with that said, this next week they play what? Auburn? They may beat Auburn. They really may. They're still going to have problems. They may beat LSU, folks. By the way, LSU, I'm kind of bullish on the Aggies right now. I just don't want to be a front runner. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that guy that goes, oh, yeah, they're good now because I've been dogging them for half a year. I'm telling you that Kellen Mond had a career day.
Your whole life.
Well, true. And that brings me around. And by the way, hats off, congrats to the Fighting Texas Aggies for doing what you should have done. You did what you should have done. You had the opportunity. You took it. You were only below the ceiling for a short amount of time. You had the shot and you took it. We appreciate that. Top gun, Texas Aggies. Now, in contrast, my alma mater is really, really reeling on a number of levels.
Reeling's putting it nicely.
Stumbling, crumbling, bumbling.
Struggling.
Dead. They're dead. And I'm going to tell you the truth.
Dead to you or just dead?
No, Fredo. They're not dead to me. I'm saying Fredo, sorry. It was very good on the positives. Sam Ehlinger cemented his legacy as the UT icon forever. Never underestimate the value of being revered by a university because Sam Ehlinger will never be a broke human being. Understand this now, folks. Sam Ehlinger will never be like where are they now? Oh, he's a homeless guy in Lampasas. No, he's not. He's a UT icon. He will be taken care of
by Matthew McConaughey.
By living with Matt McConaughey as the bongo caddy. No, he was by far the best player on the field Saturday, followed closely by number 95 of OU, a junior transfer, defensive lineman named Isaiah Thomas, who was awesome. Awesome player. Texas loses in 4 overtimes. I mean, honestly, I get to the point where I don't even care. It's like 53-45. Texas lost and deserved to lose. They deserved to lose at the half. They certainly deserved to lose at the end of the third quarter. It's just that Sam Ehlinger, individually, a la Vince Young, is such a champion performer that he willed his program back into the game. They go to overtime and they end up losing. But so very refreshing to see a healthy Jordan Whittington, young talent, NFL talent, Jordan Whittington, and a young, true freshman, Bijan Robinson, running back. Really, really encouraged by that. The rest of the team sucks. The coaching sucks. Tom Herman, you're dead to me. Should be gone. Should be fired. Summarily dismissed. You've had 4 years.
Well, if you don't lose to Oklahoma,
he still sucks. Let me tell you the truth, folks. You go back to the Sugar Bowl when we beat Utah, or was that Georgia? Whatever it was, beat Georgia, I think, in the Sugar Bowl. Since then, because we're trending the right way so much, Chris Del Conte, our athletic director that everybody loves, except maybe me, Chris Del Conte decides to give Tom Herman a 2-year extension that we owe if we decide to can him. We've gone 10-7. 10-7 since that Sugar Bowl. Okay? Now you let me go 14-3 since that Sugar Bowl, I'm okay. You let me go 10-7, we're not trending in the right direction. I'm tired of it. We're one miracle by Sam Ehlinger away from being 1-3. Because you might recall we barely beat
Texas Tech
team.
Yep.
So I'm looking at this and saying, but what will always be with me from the 2020 season is at the end of the year, at the end of the game, Sam Ehlinger was the only guy standing on the field with his horns up for the eyes of Texas. That
spoke volumes to me as a non-UT fan.
Bothered me greatly. I'm keenly aware that Mercedes and Volkswagen had ties to Nazi Germany, that Hugo Boss, the designer, designed clothes, designed Nazi uniforms. I'm aware that Disney used to have all kinds of racist things in their cartoons, and that there's, Henry Ford was a well-noted anti-Semite. I get it. People move forward. People move on. This deal with the eyes of Texas is much less offensive than anything I just mentioned. Much less offensive than anything I just mentioned. And it's wrong that we've let the inmates take over the prison. It's wrong that our players aren't expected to stand for the school song and that our school song is honored. I'm tired of this BLM BS. It's wrong that a 22-year-old kid stood on the field by himself while the band played the school song, and everybody of every color, including the coaches who were paid by the school, went to the locker room. Tom Herman's a powder. He's a whiny little crybaby. They lost, and he went and hid. His Twitter account that used to have his ugly mug on it, it's all black now. Took off his, fire the guy. Fire him. I don't care what it cost. Get rid of that clown. Bring in Bill O'Brien in the interim. He's getting paid by somebody. He ain't got nothing to do. Bring him in. Allen's Rigger Service, folks. 578-6300. Allen's is your go-to toe-to. You got a problem? You need to get out of a ditch. You need to get off the road. You need somebody who understands crash management. Trust me, Allen will keep your family safe. Allen will get your vehicle where it needs to be. And he's done it all before. You ain't going to show him. You got a Suburban in the ditch. You got a Suburban in the river. You got an 18-wheeler on its side on the highway. None of that's going to surprise Allen.
No, he's seen it all.
He's got all the tools. 578-6300. The VCS company's Rocket Oilfield Services and the only local owner authorized AT&T retailer are all part of the Hartman Communication Empire.
Hang on, caller.
Please, caller. Hang on. We want to hear your comments. The VCS company's for all your surveillance, security, detection needs,
protection needs,
detection, dissection. They'll come out.
Resurrection,
C-section, whatever you need. The VCS companies will do it. Come out and take care of you and your family. Chesnick Furniture Company, 100 years. Corner of Wanlin and Bridge, 70 for that.
We've been there 70.
Something, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy.
50% off, celebrating their centennial of existence. Get to the corner of Wanlin and Bridge, 116 West Wanlin, downtown Victoria, and let Chesnick Furniture help make your house a home. Chesnick and Love make your house a home, and you just do better at Chesnick. You want to bring in the caller and see what we got?
Yeah, let's bring the caller in. Good morning, Wade and Carter Show. Thanks for calling. Hi, who's this? Hey, Benny, how are
Good
you?
morning, Benny. We agree, Benny. I just think that so much of college sports is emotion driven, and I believe that Tom Herman's lost his team. I just don't think that there's.
Well, I made a comment last night. I don't know that any coach has had a Longhorns team since Mac Brown won the national championship,
agree.
and shortly thereafter he lost that team.
He did lose that team.
And no coach has found that team since.
Yeah, I think. Yes, sir. But here's the problem with that, and just a thought. We reel at the idea of buying out Tom Herman at 6.75 and like 7.25 over the 2 years remaining on that contract after the 21 season. Urban Meyer, Dabo Swinney makes $9 million a year at Clemson, and I'm going to tell you that it's going to take 10. It's going to take 10. And then how old a man is Urban Meyer? And if you wait another year, do you give him $50 million for 5 years? Is 5 years enough of a contract to get the recruits in? Do you really give a guy $100 million to be the face of your program when Urban Meyer is a guy who, in the middle of a contract, said, I just missed my family. I want to go home. And then about 6 weeks later, he shows up doing a TV show. And then he goes, oh, you know what? I guess I'll go coach at Ohio State. I mean, he didn't miss his old lady that much.
No.
He got home and caught up real quick.
Well,
So it's
he
not
realized why he coaches.
Yeah, he's not necessarily the highest character guy to me. And, because imagine where was he? Florida? Before he went to Ohio State?
Yeah, and before that, he was at Utah.
Yeah, if you've invested that much time and money into that guy, and he goes, and he cried, I just miss my family. I've got a lot of personal things going. So I guess he got caught with a topless dancer or something. He went home and made that right with Mama, probably bought her a new ring. And then, a la Derek Jeter. I mean, a la Kobe Bryant. Got her a Kobe Bryant diamond. And then he said, honey, I'm going back on the road. Signed a huge deal with. So I don't know what we do. Yes, sir. I agree, sir. But and of course, you'll hear us say it here a lot.
We appreciate it, Benny. Thanks for listening.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the call.
You hear us say it here. It's a function of the left. It's a function of the anarchy. It's a function of the
politically correct movement that's been going on for 30 years.
Yeah, and it's what it is everybody, and it's just like the LBGQT thing. It's like, okay, well, the Antifa folks are like, well, we don't really like the gays, but hey, we need the body count. Let's get them in here with us so we can have a nice big march.
Well, it's interesting how the media is completely ignoring the facts that most of these idiots that were involved in the Gretchen Whitmer plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
Yes. Whitmer,
whatever. She's an idiot. But anyway, they're all anti-fascists. They're all anti-Trumpsters. But the only thing they have on them is that they're white and they like guns. So they've tried to paint them as Trumpsters, yet they've come out with all their social media postings as anti-Trump, anti-police. They're basically, they are Antifa.
Yeah.
Yet the media is not wanting to touch that at all because it destroys their narrative.
Let me tell you one. When people were just this last week, it's an example of the left. It's an example of the left being the left. And Peter McNally, I know you're out there. I challenge you to counter this. The left is always talking about how Donald Trump doesn't want to help the American worker. All he wants to do is help the rich people. So here is some of the stuff that Nancy Pelosi, as the Speaker of the House, submitted to the president in this bill that was designed to be a second stimulus just to help the poor working people of America.
Keep in mind, the last time Michael Cloud was here, there was still $1 trillion $1 trillion that had not been spent from the first stimulus.
Right. Right.
And I doubt that that's been whittled away very much.
Here's what they put in, just some little things to help the working people. They were in the bill that Donald Trump said, I ain't signing that.
But the president did say he would sign a bill that put money into the hands of Americans, which I necessarily don't do, which I don't typically or necessarily agree with either.
Yeah, but at least he's trying to say, if you want to give $2 trillion to the American people, $1,200 at a time, I'm your boy. Bring it to me, I'll sign it. But when you throw in now listen to these numbers. If you say them fast, they don't add up. $300 million for migrant and refugee assistance. $300 million for the endowment of the arts.
All of a sudden, there's a mystery caravan showing up at our border again. Have you noticed this? They're recycling everything because nothing is working. They thought the riots would work. Then they realized, well, people actually in this country want law and order. And it bolstered Trump and hurt Biden.
$300 million for the endowment for the humanities. $30 billion. $30 billion for the Department of Education Stabilization Fund. What does that even do? Like, it sounds great, right? Let's stabilize education. But what is it?
Let's get back to our standards of education when the U.S. was actually leading the world in producing educated kids.
$720 million to Social Security. $500 million of that is to administrative cost. $25 million for cleaning supplies for the Capitol building. Folks, this is not a stimulus package. This is a Democrat shopping list. This is so Nancy Pelosi can say, in a bad time, I still got $300 million. There's money in there for the employees' pay raises at the Kennedy Center. This is what's wrong with America, people.
$35 million to the Kennedy Center.
People are painting the president of the United States as uncaring and unfair while they put all this pork in their program that is all just, hey, Mr. President, if you want the attaboy, this is all it is. If you want the attaboy of giving money to people in an election year, you've got to give us what we want.
$315 million for State Department diplomatic programs.
What does
that even mean?
Diplomatic programs. Is that for entertaining foreign dignitaries? Speaking of people,
is that for giving bags of cash to people in Iran like Barack did?
Can you imagine about people getting out of their lane and not knowing their role? Can you believe? I want you to think about it. If our city council did this, I think first of all, I would just crucify each of them individually forever, every morning. Can you believe that the Austin City Council, Austin, Liberal Town, USA, Texas, is contemplating, they're considering a resolution, which a resolution is just a non-binding bunch of garbage, whereas and whereas and whereas.
Let it be known that.
Right.
Yeah.
The city of Austin is considering a resolution to implore the Senate to postpone the confirmation of the next Supreme Court justice. Talk about being out of your lane. What about just, hey, fix the streets, get the trashy homeless people off 6th Street, and take care of your city?
Get rid of all your tent cities.
Can you imagine if you're John Cornyn? Oh, man, whoa, we better get serious now. The city of Austin, the city council sent us a resolution telling us we better wait. You talk about wasting time. Like anybody cares what the city of Austin City Council has to say
about national issues when you can't even fix your own problems.
That is unbelievable. By the way, congratulations, hats off. First name eludes me. Is it Randy Arredondo? Help me out. New police chief being brought in. He was a way up in the Dallas Police Department. Apparently comes highly recommended. By the way, hats off in this case to Jesus Garza and his committees. Apparently everybody, the last 3 finalists were all apparently superior individuals and wonderful law enforcement personnel. And we look forward to the new, I think it's Arredondo. I think is his last name. Really look forward to this new era in Victoria policing. So,
Robert, thank you, H.R.
Robert,
Mallory.
thank you, H.R. Mallory. Thank you, sir. So very, very good. And yeah, City of Austin, way out of their lane. To the bottom of the hour here, let's just talk real quick. Veracruz back open today. Lee Caballero will have mixed emotions. Dak Prescott is gone, but the Cowboys got to win. So, which is better than when we sacrificed Van Der Esch and Lee, we didn't win.
No.
So at least with Dak, gave up the 34-year-old virgin and we won. Veracruz Restaurant today, folks. Great place for you to be.
576-6015 if you wanted to get it to go.
It's just perfect. Get into Veracruz, hot sauce, queso, guac, fresh tortillas. Fabulous place. The chips are great. The hot sauce is perfect. It's the place to be. Razor IT Solutions, we talked about JP Hall earlier, but he is super busy. The stuff that he's doing now with encryption and analytics and all that stuff, it's above our pay grade. We don't understand it. In fact, he doesn't pay us.
We don't need to understand
He doesn't even pay us enough to keep talking about it. But we're going to do it because we believe in JP. He's done amazing things for people. And several of he's done work for White Trash Services. He's doing work for the county. He's just, he's on top of what's going on. And reach out to Razor IT Solutions for anything to do with how your computers talk to each other, how QuickBooks ties into your pay button on your web page, that kind of stuff.
They all talk to each other.
That's
so
what
it makes
it
it
does.
easy for you.
Speaking of White Trash Services, 550-1826. Reach out to BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, their family, their friends. They're all one big happy family out there, and they all do yeoman's work. They take pride in being the people that answer the phone when you call. You get a voice. It's not press one now. If you need a roll-off dumpster, press one now. You don't get that.
No, you
get
don't.
A person that says, hold on a minute, hold on, my microwave's about to go off. They're just a small country business out there, but they got it going on.
Whose popcorn's burning?
Right? Somebody get that phone. If you need trash service in the 6-county area or Holiday Beach, Rockport, you reach out to White Trash Services, and they are the best of the best. That's the Waiting Carter best of the best. We make it up whenever we want to.
And the Adsnover dealerships.
Since 1926, Ash.
They've only been in their current location since, we don't know, but
There used to be
not
cows
1926,
grazing
yeah.
behind that dealership.
There was a dirt road to that dealership when they first moved out there.
That's right. Since 1926, now it's Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all kinds of gently pre-owned vehicles, a paint and body shop. They've got a service for all makes and models. They'll inspect.
Was it
your
GM
vehicle.
or was GM the A1 used cars back in the day?
Was it A1 or AOK?
Or AOK?
I
I
don't know.
remember. I don't remember.
It wasn't AOC. I know
No.
that.
But
We
now
can
they're
probably tell you
pre-owned.
which
Now they're
one.
pre-owned.
Absolutely.
And they're gently used. They pick the best and they send the rest to auction.
The Atzenhofer dealership since 1926. Reach out to them. By the way, folks, back to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we'll get to them. I wasn't sure if you were done your rant on
I'm done with
the
rant.
federal government yet.
The government's just terrible. I'm going to tell you something. I'm at the point now where I don't care about your politics. I really don't. I don't care. I used to say when Barack Obama got elected, I even said, hey, you know what? I'm not a Barack fan, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because that guy doesn't really run the government anyway. And I believed that. I'm going to tell you that the stuff that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now between Hillary and people lying to federal judges for warrants and monitoring people during elections and
Sitting presidents monitoring
the
private
president,
citizens' campaigns for president.
Yes, and that Biden and Barack were both briefed on it. I'm telling you that what's going on in Washington right now, if you value the republic that made this country what it is, if you value the republic that you live in right now, you simply must send a message to Washington, D.C. that we will not put up with Joe Biden and his kind. Because I'm telling you, the minute Joe Biden gets elected, number one, your taxes are going to go up. It's unavoidable. It's unavoidable.
Well, he said it. He's repealing the Trump tax cut. So
your taxes are going to go up. And number two, all of this stuff, Hillary's emails will all disappear because they implicate Biden. I'm telling you that this guy, whether he I'm not even saying that he was a mastermind because I don't think he's that smart. Unwittingly, this guy was in the middle.
He's not that smart. 47 years in Congress and vice president, and he's never had an idea that can move the needle in this country to shape it for the better, to make it better, to fix the problems that all of a sudden he says he can now fix if he becomes the guy in charge.
47 years. Michael Jolly says, I've only let you say 4 words this show. It's in your contract. Some days you get a Monday off. Y'all just don't know the inner work.
Well, it's Thanksgiving, so today's my day.
I'm just glad he's here. And he doesn't reek of Jameson.
No Canadian, no self-respecting Canadian drinks Jameson.
Right, there you go.
Crown Canadian Club or Crown Royal.
What about R&R?
I think that's an American invention.
Aberration.
I don't recall ever seeing R&R on the store shelves in Canada.
There you go. It's too fine.
As a wee lad.
Right.
So the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Have been since I was a kid. Since I watched them always lose to Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
Not always.
Close enough. It seemed like it. Got to quickly, before we get there, shout out to Joe Mitchell, hole in one at VCC
Hey, way to
yesterday.
go, Joe.
So he's all about the analytics.
It was great to see Omar chime in. I love Omar.
He wants to figure out how he's going to replicate that swing.
You do that 17 more times, you can play Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. He might kill you.
Yeah.
If you out hole in one him.
Let him beat you in the playoff.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. It's not worth your life. Best round ever, just to never talk about it.
Right.
So the Dallas Cowboys get a win over the continuing winless New York Giants.
Right.
New York Football Giants.
0-5 now, the Giants.
Their lone win coming against Atlanta, who fired everybody yesterday after another loss. So let's not sugarcoat this and say that the Cowboys are a good football team, because they're absolutely not.
No.
But if you are less than human if you are gloating and taking delight in Dak Prescott's injury yesterday, because of I don't know if it's the local TV signal that sucks or if it's my antenna that sucks, but I managed to get every local over-the-air signal except for CBS, and I don't know why. So I could not watch the Cowboys game yesterday, so I had to follow it online and see the highlights. And the Dak Prescott injury was absolutely sickening.
Devastating.
And I give the Cowboys a lot of credit, because that's an injury that's tough to come back to play the rest of the game through. And they managed to do it well. And Andy Dalton looked pretty darn good.
It's obvious to me the players really care about Dak. When he was on the ground for a while, folks, it was ugly. You didn't see it. It was Joe Theismann-esque. It was his foot was off to the side. It was
compound fracture, which means the bone poked through the.
It looked inhuman. And
Christina Wise says made her sick to see it.
She's a nurse. So, but once they got him on the cart, got him stabilized.
Jason Garrett came over.
That was touching.
A lot of players came over from the other team.
Yeah, and then a lot of his own teammates came over, and I'll tell you something. I told you this on the way in. I've been kind of just down on pro athletes in general. I mean, I never really gave up on the Astros because I understand the big picture, but my hometown baseball team, they're cheaters. The NBA just completely lost their fan base, and they've recognized that. Ash and I pointed that out when it happened, but of course, a 40% reduction in playoff TV viewing let the NBA know that all that Black Lives Matter crap needs to come off their courts and off the back of their jerseys.
Oh, and quietly at the end of last week, Adam Silver says it will, and the media just didn't bother running with that at all.
We're done with that. And
if the players want to do it, that's one thing, but we're not going to do it to hurt the league anymore. Was basically his message.
That's exactly what he said. I mean, he said these things will now be back on the players to handle off our court. So that they realized that was a bad mark. What they realized, and I'll tell you that was one of the main indicators to me that Trump is going to win in a landslide. America is tired of your crap. Take your Black Lives Matter garbage.
Social justice messaging just
it's over.
Doesn't work.
It's over. So that's how you know Trump's going to win in a landslide, when people don't watch the NBA. Done. So Dak gets hurt, and it was the first time in a long time, as they carted him off, I actually felt a little sick to my stomach as seeing a guy that I criticize here for not being a great quarterback. He ain't worth $60 million, yada, 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 without always adding. But he sure seems like a fine young man. He's a true cowboy. He plays his guts out every week. He is a hardworking team leader kind of guy. And to see him unashamedly crying and hold his hand up in the air as he left the field, and the crowd, there weren't that many people in the stands, but it sounded like a stadium full because they were screaming for him. And my heart hurt for the kid because he doesn't have the long-term deal. Now, granted, he's got, he made $30 million last year. He'll make $30 million this year. It's a lot of money, folks, but it's not like he got $120 million guaranteed on a $400 million contract. So I'm hopeful that he can heal and come back. But I will tell you, after that, in the game, and I joked with you, the very first play, I think the Cowboys ran, or maybe they didn't, but very soon,
I think they did run the first play.
Andy Dalton hit CeeDee Lamb in the flat, and he managed, so CeeDee's running to his right, and Dalton made him flip all the way back around and catch the ball back behind him, and the team felt like everything was normal because it was a terribly thrown ball.
They didn't know Dak wasn't back there.
They thought it was Dak. It took a tremendous effort to catch the ball, and they said, man, it's just like when Dak was here. Do it for number 4. Everybody held up 4s on every play, and it was a beautiful scene, and we all cried and shed a tear and prayed for Dak. But I'm going to tell you that down the stretch, Andy Dalton threw 2 balls that made me think of Aaron Rodgers. Folks, if you watch the game, you've got to admit that ball, 2 back-to-back catches by Gallup. What's his first name? Randy Gallup?
Joey?
Whatever. That's Joey Galloway. Gallup. That Gallup kid.
First names aren't on the back of the jerseys.
Black Lives Matter Gallup made a heck of a catch. And, I mean, he made 2 of them that Andy Dalton threw 2 balls that just take you back to like, wow. Perfection.
Andy Dalton was a wasted talent for a decade in Cincinnati.
Oh, they call him the Red Rifle. I heard Lee Caballero say that 50 times. You got the Red Rifle, baby. We're okay.
Chris Conrad says the Red Rifle will keep you on track for the rest of the season.
I believe it. I tell you what, that kid's got a gun.
Joe Mitchell says Cowboys back in first at 2-3. Andy Dalton will manage the offense well. He got Cincinnati to a couple of first-round losses to the Texans, so he knows how to manage bad teams.
There you go. And I can see Dallas.
Michael Gallup. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's on top.
First names, they kind of
yeah
escape us
well,
sometimes.
Joe knows it. Joe calls him Mike. What's up, Mike? What's up, babe? Are you calling like 13? What's up, 13? What's up, 1-3? What's up, baby?
Joe calls him Michael. Michael calls him Pro. Here, Pro. Here's
What's
my
up,
bag.
Pro? Yeah, here, Pro.
Can you put my clubs on the cart, please,
Give
Pro?
me a card number 13, will you? Cowboys win. Cowboys win. Cowboys win. Okay. So I still got them going 8-8.
I don't. I just
7-9?
I can't.
6-10.
Maybe.
Oh no.
No, I think maybe this is a rallying point. I think they could get to 8-8. They win the division at 8-8.
It's the first time since like 1963 that every team in the NFC East is below 500 after 5 games. Clearly, NFC East, worst division in the NFL.
Who was in that division? The Giants, St. Louis Cardinals, Dallas, and Washington.
Lions.
I don't even know.
I don't know if Detroit was in that division back then or not.
I have no idea.
No, it was the Washington Football Club.
Were the Philadelphia Eagles there yet?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Or are they not come over from the AFL yet?
Joe Mitchell says 7-9. Okay.
Patrick Strauss says 6-10 might win the division.
There you go.
That's sad. If 6-10 wins the division, this will be a cry for a reforming of the playoff structure in the NFL. That said, I just chalk it all up to COVID.
Yeah, it's a crazy
year.
year. I did have somebody ask me the other day, so man, could you really fire Tom Herman in 2020? I'm like, yeah, because every coach, Every coach in the country is dealing with the same playing field, and nobody has any advantages over Texas. I mean, Tom Herman's got every facility, each kid's probably got their own, they probably got their own drop-down oxygen mask in their locker room. I mean, I'm not kidding you. There ain't nobody got any advantage over Texas. If you can't find a way
their own hyperbaric chambers,
I guarantee you, there ain't no excuse for what Tom Herman has done.
Clayton Meyer checking in. Good morning, Clayton.
And I'm at the point now as an alum, as a graduate, not a T-shirt guy. I'm just go to Walmart and decide this week I'll pull for Texas.
I thought that's how you supported UT.
I'm at the point now.
The royalties.
Yeah, like you can buy an Aggies T-shirt for like $8 and they're like $11.50 for Texas. I'm like, really? I'm not paying the premium. I'm wearing maroon now. I'm front running. I am just drop my expectations. The SEC 4th place, baby. 4th place in the West. That's me. I'd just be happy there. Just content.
Call a team that might win 8 games a front runner.
Yeah, that's got better character than my Longhorns. That's the deal. I would rather see Texas. People are saying we might lose some of these commits. Some of these commits we've got. Fine, man. I'd rather have a team that represented. What's scary to me, I guess the humility of it is, I think we do have a team that represents my university, and that's what makes me sad. That's what I was trying to get. I think this team does represent my university. I think they are people that are only out for themselves, and they just go and do whatever makes them feel good, not looking at the greater good, not looking at the overall product. And it's offensive to me.
Point there. Tell you what's not offensive to you. Good barbecue. Only found at Uncle Mutt's. Brisket, ribs, turkey, sausage, chicken.
Side dishes.
I'm not going for the turkey today because I'm full of turkey from Thanksgiving weekend, but
Uncle Mutt's barbecue, folks, great for your next catering opportunity as well. For example, if you're going to have a huge party and you've already called Cheryl at 920-6803, Great Barn Design comes in, lays everything out.
Decorates it all, makes it look nice.
Then Cheryl will work on your behalf with catering companies. Cut you the best deal. They know her. They're used to dealing with her. 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl and let her handle your next party and make it memorable for you and your family. No doubt about it. Went services, went electrical, went generator, went solar panels. Get in there now and let Went come out and say, hey, what would you do? What is my site conducive to? Well, I can put a generator right here on the side. You've already got propane. We can tie into that. We have the plumber to do that. Got your Kohler generator on the side of your home, away from your window. So when you're sleeping at night, if it tests itself at 4 in the morning, it doesn't wake you up. It'll just send you a little ping on your cell phone.
You know where you put that? By the guest room.
Right. I was going to stay during the storm, but I'm going to go in and take my chance out in my car now. Fire that, ramp that dude up. Wind services, battery backups for your solar panels. Now you can use that energy at night. It's not just right now. Brilliant stuff. Lots and lots of advances in high-tech electronics.
That are now affordable for your home. That never used to be.
Absolutely. Reach out to them. Reach out to USA Concrete Coatings. Did you see the picture I sent you yesterday? Is that not beautiful work? They did a pool deck. They did it at what they call it, pecan or something. It was beautiful, nice. Folks. I mean, it was beautiful. They come in and so say your pool deck's got a few cracks in it now and all that. They can fill the cracks, put a new coating on it. Awesome. USA 578 Home, HOME. Oh,
Peter McNally checking in. Good morning to you. Peter says $25 million to buy out Herman? ?
I don't think it's that much, Pete. You know what, Pete? It may be because it's 7.25, 6. That's 14, and then we own like 6 and change next year, plus whatever he's doing.
Yeah, but I bet you the buyout's half.
I don't know. Man. I don't think if it was smart, it is. It's big money. It's big money, but sometimes it's money well spent. And I say divorce is so expensive because it's worth it.
There's my brother Corky.
That guy check.
There's my brother Corky checking in. Good morning to you, brother. And Patrick Strauss asked who won the Blue Bonnet Grand Prize. Kinley Vickers won the backyard concert with Nashville Recording Artists in Cunningham.
Isn't that great?
A few of our listeners won some prizes too. I don't
Fantastic.
I think Michelle Hawkins won something, so there you go.
Joe Mitchell says Brent and I love Peter McNally, and that's very true. Peter McNally is the most refreshing counter voice to my stereotype. I mean, when I listen, First of all, excuse me, I'm not getting choked up, Peter. Don't get too excited. I respect Mr. McNally because he knows why he believes what he believes. We don't always agree, but he's resolute. He knows why he believes what he believes. And he articulates it in such a way that he makes me think, and I respect that.
I like Peter.
Oh, I do
Always
too.
have.
Very, very bright man, very charming. He's a nice guy. Just wish that he'd just come over and bat for the home team.
I wish he wouldn't have moved.
Right?
Joe Mitchell says about facts trump opinions. Yeah, well, I think we'll save that one for tomorrow because we still got lots to talk about today. Like the WHO all of a sudden quietly, end of last week. And again, these things are starting to, the timing of these things is peculiar. Doesn't go unnoticed by me. When you start seeing announcements getting made, I know the Fabuloso is just
what is
bringing it
Hall
up in
of
here.
Famer? What is, I'm taking a picture. What is he doing out there? That'll be on the Wayne Carter page.
He's trying out for the Wayne Carter and curling team. That's what he's doing.
Hey, you know, we could push it. Hey, you missed a spot. I ain't pushing it.
Don't push it.
I ain't pushing
He'll
it.
whack you with that mop, leave a bruise on your shin. But if you notice the timing of some of these things, the NBA coming out when they did and saying they're getting rid of the BLM stuff because they didn't want really anybody to notice it.
Right.
The World Health Organization coming out, same thing, end of last week over the weekend. Well, you know what? Lockdowns, not such a good thing anymore because they're hurting the people that they shouldn't be hurting.
They're not telling you that on a Monday morning when you're trying to get your business going. They put it out like 7:30 on a Friday night when nobody else is listening.
That's exactly when they're doing it. And now the World Health Organization says the lockdowns are pointless. They need to end because they're not very effective. They did the job they needed to do originally.
The brother man's glasses are all fogged up. Don't slip in there. Ralph's mopping the floor.
But they're finding out that
Trying to keep it clean for y'all.
outside of people with money, the lockdowns are hurting everybody else.
Right.
The paycheck to paycheck person. And they're really hurting the poor and the destitute more so than COVID is.
No doubt.
So they've said, well, we got to stop this. We got to stop this.
The quick announcement also, by the way, Torrin Bales did win the bidding on the Ted Nugent MAGA hat, re-election hat, and I owe him a Wade and Carter tumbler, as I owe Callie Fromme a Wade and Carter tumbler. So these are things that we will be housekeeping issues. We want to make sure that that we noted, although he does so much and he does it usually so privately and quietly, but I'm going to front him out and say that Torrin Bales did donate $1,000 to Warriors Weekend. That's super nice of him.
But I'm just curious to see this week if the media picks up any of the end of the lockdown, because it certainly wasn't the major media outlets, at least in this country, that were pushing that. So I thought that was interesting.
Here's what I haven't asked you, and I'll frame it and then let you give me an answer. Where do you stand with the idea? I believe that it's folly that Nancy Pelosi is going to use like the 25th Amendment somehow to remove Donald Trump from his position here 25 days before the election. But is it possible? She throws that out there. She uses that to just kind of taint the undecided a little bit. Then they vote for Joe Biden. Then Joe Biden gets elected, and she uses the exact same 25th Amendment to jerk him out of there and put her cohort, Kamala Harris, in as president. Is that the logic the Dems are using here, Ash?
Well, they're trying to hide that, but I believe that's what this is. It's a practice or a dry run.
So that she can say, hey, folks, look, this is not me. This is my president. I've served with Joe for decades. But folks, the facts are obvious. It's time for Joe to go. And thank God we've got Kamala here to solve the problem. I'm calling today.
If it's time for Joe to go, why wasn't it time for Joe to go when you were in the middle of your nomination process?
So why don't we just vote all those Democratic loser idiots out of Congress? Even if we put different Democrats in there, why not just get rid of that specific group of people? that are not good for this country and don't have the best interest of this country. You think AOC cares at all about the United States?
No.
Not the one that we live in.
Remember when she got elected and she was crying she had no place to live and couldn't afford Washington, D.C.?
Right.
Haven't seen her cry for any money since, have you?
And she's always wearing like Chanel dresses and stuff now, albeit, you know, whatever it takes to match all of her.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So
You guys got anything to do with this? Did you and Putin have anything to do with this?
no, we weren't in on this.
Okay. I mean, I believe you. You've never lied to me.
We might have been in on our little operative in Baton Rouge, though.
So there's the question. When he goes, if Kamala ends up president, does Pelosi move up to vice president?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
It sits there. They'll have to bring somebody else in.
Beto.
AOC.
Oh, no. There's no way.
I don't think so because she'd be too young to ascend to the presidency if she needed to, right? She's not-
There's no way. Even the Democrats wouldn't do something so stupid.
I don't know. They nominated Joe Biden.
I would love for AOC to call here and let us debate her about her policy. She's just as dumb as a sack of fertilizer. I'm talking about the kind you get out on the farm.
Fertilizer's a whole lot smarter.
Yep.
Works harder too.
AOC got reelected, James Kurth, because certain districts, they said, how does Maxine Waters get reelected? Let's don't blame New York. Let's look at Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters, who said there ought to be uprisings all over the country, called for basically the abolition of the rule of law. Maxine Waters is treasonous to me.
How does Sheila Jackson Lee continue to get reelected?
Yeah, unbelievable.
So on a lighter note, a couple of Caleb Shaw Award nominees.
One's a
Maybe
classic.
winners.
Yeah, that.
One here in Victoria. Don't know a whole bunch about it, but the Burger Nation got ran into. There's a curb in front of that.
Yeah, somebody had to be committed.
You had to be committed to getting over that hump.
They didn't have a drive-through until this weekend.
Yeah.
Here's the question, though. We're always trying to refine. Like what we have dealt with, is it if the Caleb Shaw Award happens inadvertently in the commission of a crime, it's still a Caleb Shaw Award. If it is the crime, like driving through the building to loot, then we don't honor that. But like in this case, Burger Nation, probably just an out-of-control vehicle. That's clearly a Caleb Shaw Award.
That is a Caleb Shaw
However,
Award.
it was reported by the victim. Is that not self-promotion? And is it not a selfless award? I mean, do we give Burger Nation a Caleb Shaw Award when it seems like their owner was clamoring for the award?
Well, maybe, or just to let customers know they're not going to be open for a few
It's
days.
breezy. It's patio dining.
We have patio
Inside.
dining now.
That's just crazy talk. The best one, though,
Might give them a new idea. They might change the storefront up and put in those sliding glass doors that
be nice.
would open it up for everybody.
Where was the kid? Where did this happen?
Baton Rouge.
An 11-year-old kid in Baton Rouge. Now, picture this, folks. Commandeers a full-size yellow dog school bus and just takes off.
On the weekend. How do you get the keys?
Dude, he's
to
in
that
Baton
school
Rouge.
bus.
He's in Baton Rouge. He knows how to hotwire a bus.
Well, you've got a point there.
Come on.
Future LSU grad.
11 years old, people, jumps in there. I wouldn't trust Caden to back my car out of the driveway. This kid just gets on the bus, Gus, and takes off 50 ways to leave your lover.
Forget
and
about
yellow
us.
dog. Right. Unbelievable.
I'm not going to say it was a high-speed police chase because I don't think it was, but it was a police chase. And he ends up burying it in a lady's yard.
Yeah, Caleb Shaw.
I mean, he destroyed this thing.
Yeah.
Bus was sitting on the wheels.
You think
Wheels
that's
were
pretty-
sunk in. The ground was probably a little sopping wet from Beta or Delta or
Is
maybe
that
all
gonna
of
get
them.
him some ISS? I don't know.
Oh, I saw a picture of him. He was in cuffs. They weren't too tight though.
Yeah.
Didn't show his face, but
Folks,
man,
you've got to tune in regularly to hear unbelievable and interesting things. That's what we do here at Wade and Carter. We're unbelievable and interesting.
do you think mom and dad are mad at that kid, or does he even have a mom and dad that care?
That's what you wonder is were his parents like over in Lake Charles playing bingo? What were they doing? You got to wonder where they, how did your kid, 11 years old, get on the bus? Yeah, he did commit to LSU. That's nice.
That was a signing day picture.
Go Tigers. Good job, kid. You got to wonder, though, LSU got beat this weekend. You know, who would have thought that Joe Burrow made a big difference down there?
Lost 2 games this year.
Yeah.
Blame it on COVID.
Yeah, it's all COVID. It's a crazy, crazy world we're living in. Tell you something you can count on. Since 1924, Brother Gary Moses coming in here next.
He'll be here with the Hall of Fame.
Alongside the Hall of Famer, Ralph Slingamop Salazar. What was that all about? I'm going to put a picture of the Hall of Famer on the Wade and Carter page so you guys can see him. I don't know what he had everything but an apron and some pump heels. He was just out here slinging the mop.
Bad back and all, and he's getting her done.
I don't know what. Maybe he didn't get the memo yet. I don't know. We'll have to remind him what's going on around here.
Happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends and
Hey,
all around the globe as they tune in.
folks, I'm
It's a great
sorry. Sorry, Ken.
Enjoy that turkey hangover.
Hey, love you guys. We'll see you mañana.
Bye, folks.
Bye. Ralph, you get the memo? We're moving, Ralph. Hey, what? I've got to call in I decided to go to Jim Hartman, go to Mr. Hartman himself and say, hey,